Hello, everybody. My name is Harlequin Murray, and I am your co-host this evening. I want to welcome all of you who are here for the first time. Glad you joined us and glad you joined the team. I know we've got some people that are not on our team that are joining us that are wanting to get some additional training, so we welcome you as well. But for the most part, everyone that's on this call is usually people who are on Ellen Winn's team and my team, which is a part of Ellen's team. But anyways, I have the distinct honor and privilege of introducing Ellen Winn, who is our senior team leader, and she is my personal enroller. We have been friends for many, many years. And anyways, just to give you a little bit of background about Ellen, she grew up on her family's farm just outside of Atlanta in a town called Dallas, Georgia. And she actually lives on that property again today. So she's excited about that. But her work career started out in the restaurant industry. She worked in that industry for many years and had worked her way up to a regional director with Domino's Pizza, and she was in charge of training for them for the area. And she ended up several years ago, gosh, about 20 years ago now, she left Domino's and started her own pizza restaurant and had a couple of locations. And she's been a business owner ever since. But she was introduced to network marketing about 20 years ago, I would say. And whenever she got involved in that industry, she very quickly moved up. Whenever I met her, she was actually the national training director for a network marketing company. And so she is very known for her training skills. But anyway, she is one of the top leaders in DAC. She's an area director. If you don't know what that is, I would watch the comp plan video. She's also a one-star executive in the longevity comp plan. So anyways, without further ado, Miss Ellen Winn, I'm going to let you take it away. Ellen, are you there? I guess I get to talk for a couple.
There we go. I couldn't
Okay.
find my microphone. How about that? Let me find my camera as well. I was just sending out a last minute message to the team, letting everybody know we're going live. I've already sent out the text message. Wanted to get a last minute email out too, because we got some good stuff tonight. I've been working on this, and the more I was working on it, the more excited I got. So I'm excited to share this information with you guys tonight. Thank you, Harlequin. I appreciate that introduction. And it's always cool taking a walk down memory lane with you from our work history together in network marketing space. If it weren't for this industry, I would never have met Harlequin. So really fortunate and blessed that we met many years ago, and excited that you're here tonight. If this is your first time, as Harlequin said, welcome. We do this call every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern time as an opportunity to have a platform for you guys to ask questions outside of what we do on our corporate Zooms. A lot of times those daytime Zooms at 11:30 Eastern on Mondays and Fridays that David Rutz does for the company. A lot of times not everyone can be on those because they may be working their job, right? But this evening call gives more people an opportunity to get on and ask questions while we're live. So I've got some great information. We've got some testimonials. We've got some promotions. And what I'm going to cover on our compensation plan, if you've got anybody on your team that's not plugged into this Zoom right now, I encourage you to send them a text and say, hey, you need to get on this Zoom, because it's going to be some really, really eye-opening information for you. But before we get too far along, let me go ahead and get us into screen share mode and get us started on the presentation, because we've got a lot to get through. Okay. And I should have my screen share up there. Looks like I see that DAC to the rescue. And that is, all of us have that superhero inside of us. It just depends on what it is that we're wanting to do. You know, if you're traveling and you see someone in a car accident and you pull over to help them out, if it's a tragic situation where someone's trapped in a car, there's enough energy in us to be able to pick up a car off of someone, right? Well, that's a superhero that can come from within with that adrenaline rush when we're in need in an emergency. Well, that's what I feel like we are here with DAC. We're superheroes coming to the rescue with business owners, giving them information that they probably have no clue about. And that is with our business funding and the ERC program. So really excited that you've decided to join us. I start this Zoom every Monday with team recognition, and I'll start this just like I do every week. And that is recognition on our team recruiting. Recruiting is the lifeblood of our business. As I said, I wouldn't know Harlequin if it weren't for this industry. And that's because someone invited Harlequin to come see a business opportunity at the training center that I was running back in the early 2000s over here in Atlanta, Georgia area. So invitations and inviting people to grow your team is a part of the business, because David Allen Capital doesn't spend money as a company advertising. Our whole model is word of mouth marketing, right? We tell a few friends and they tell a few friends, and so on and so on. And that's how our business grows in a viral effect. And you're going to get compensated very well for that. So I want to recognize those of you that were recruiting for the week of 11/7 through 11/13 on our leaderboard. In first place, we had Orlando Resource LLC out of Florida. Congratulations, with 10 new agents there. In second place, we had Karen Atkins with 9 new agent recruits. In third place, Richard Heraldez with 6 new agent recruits. Congratulations, Orlando Resource, Karen and Richard being in those top 3 spots. In fourth place, we had Shahira Savannah with 4 new recruits. We're going to hear from her shortly. And in fifth place, I came in with 3 new recruits for the week. In sixth place, we had a 6-way tie with 2 new agents apiece. Salitha Burwell, Miriam McMillan, Lavonda Goodman, Eric Johnson, Tatiana Lucas, and Katina Willis, each with 2 new recruits. We had several people that had 1 new agent recruit for the week. In fact, we had 29 people overall who had at least 1 new recruit. I didn't list them if they didn't have at least 2. And we had a total of 62 new agents join my organization, the Team Winn organization. As Harlequin said, she's one of my frontline agents. So everything that she and her team does feeds my organization, right? And I have many more personally recruited agents on here tonight, and those numbers are continuing to grow because I'm in massive recruiting and building mode right now. All right. I want to remind everyone, if you've been with DAC for a while, if you've been here more than 60 days and you haven't had a new client, that means you have fallen out of engaged status. You have to be engaged if you're going to earn those extra commissions on your personal deals and be able to earn on your team. Now, you always earn on your own personal deals, but it's a matter of whether you earn the base pay or some extra pay, and I'll cover that in a few minutes. But our auto engaged promotion is a great opportunity for those of you that have been here more than 60 days and have fallen out of that auto engaged status. Now, anybody that you recruit through the end of this year, you're going to be automatically engaged to earn on their first 2 funded deals or ERC clients. No matter how long it takes for them to get them, you're automatically engaged on their first 2 deals, no matter what your status is in the compensation plan. So take advantage of that and be recruiting, because that's some money that you'll not miss out on. And also, those are people that if you don't talk to them, somebody else is going to talk to them, and they'll be in somebody else's organization. So get out there and recruit. Now, part of our recognition is new promotions to DAC 1. And let's go through real quick what this is. We call this leveling up, where you start out as a new DAC agent and you would be actually DAC 0 because you haven't had any fundings, right, when you first get started. So to move through the compensation plan, it takes activity and production on your part. So to get to DAC 1, which is the first level up in our compensation plan, you have to have at least one qualified funding. What is a qualified funding? That means that the funded value is at least $6,000. And we put that minimum in there because we have the giggle, we have the BIDI advance fundings, we have lines of credit that can be less than 6,000. So David put that 6,000 mark in there as the minimum to count as a qualified funding. Okay. And to get to DAC 1, you also have to have that one qualified funding plus a total funded value of 10,000. So if you have just one client that is 6,000, you're going to need a couple of those to move over that 10,000 mark to get to DAC 1. So this week, we'd like to recognize 2 agents who hit DAC 1 for the week, and that is Penny Coates. Penny had a $35,000 funding that promoted her. This was her first funding, and wow, what a great way to get started out of the gate. We also had Shahira Savannah, who you saw on the recruiting leaderboards. Shahira just had a $25,000 funding that pushed her over the 10,000 mark to get her to DAC 1. So congratulations, Penny and Shahira. I've got a couple more recognitions, and then we'll go to some testimonials from you guys. Okay. That's our DAC 1 promotions. We also had a promotion to DAC 2. To get to DAC 2, you have to have at least 2 qualified fundings of 6,000 or more, right, to count as a customer. And the total funded value of those 2 customers, 2 or more customers, has to be at least 20,000 or more, right? So this week, I'm really excited to recognize Shahira Savannah getting promoted to DAC 2. So here's what happened. She had a funding. Her first funding was $9,500. So if you remember, you have to have a funded client of at least 10,000 or more, or total funded value, right? So that first funding counted as one qualified funding for her, but it was short of the $10,000 to hit DAC 1. So this latest funding that she just got for $25,000 hit her to DAC 1 and DAC 2 simultaneously, because that pushed her over the 20,000 mark and pushed her over the 10,000. So congratulations to Shahira. Also, the good thing is that first funding, which was the lower amount, she earned 3% on that. So that was a $285 commission. But because she got that second funding within 30 days of the first funding, where she was amped up, right? And you get double commission on that. Plus she didn't actually get it because she didn't rank advance on that until it was done. But she was amped up on that second one. So that $25,000 funding, she got paid at 6%. So that was a $1,500 commission. So congratulations, Shahira. Real excited for you. And actually, I want to go, before I get into the rest of the training, I'm going to go here, stop share, and see who we have on the line. Do we see Shahira in the room? If so, if you're there, if you'll please raise your hand, and so I can spot you. I see you. I see you now. Yes. All right. I'm going to ask you to unmute. Can you unmute, Shahira? There you are.
Okay, here I am.
Excellent. Excellent. Hey, thanks for getting on here with us tonight. It's always exciting to have someone rank up, but to rank up 2 levels, that one funding, that was awesome. So tell us what it is that you're doing. And, you know, you've got a very professional voicemail. I tried to call you earlier and got your voicemail. You sound great. And
thank you.
I know you're out there actively promoting. So tell us real quickly what it is that you do outside of DAC, and how is it that you found these clients? Of course, we don't want to tell the client's name, but you can certainly tell about their industry if you want.
Okay. Actually, I do paid promotion, and I also have like a website with some SEO. And I actually like niched down to the trucking industry, and that's where my first funding came from. I have a website for truckers. And then the second one that just came through my paid ads.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on that. I have people asking all the time about paid ads, and I always say, be cautious with that. If you know what
Yes,
you're doing,
yes.
which you
You can
do,
waste a lot of money
obviously,
if you don't know. Yes,
it works, right? But it
it
can
does.
cost you a lot if you don't know what you're doing, right?
It can. That is true.
Yeah. Excellent. So are you excited about DAC?
I am, yes. I love it.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I hope that you're going to be as excited about the ERC program as well. And if you'll stick around, I'm going to take you through some compensation things that you may not be aware of as you're
Okay.
moving forward now as a DAC2 or comp plan. So
Sounds
thank
great.
you. Did you have anything else that you wanted to share before we go to our next testimonial?
Nope.
Nope. Well, awesome. Well, we're real proud of you and glad to have you here with DAC.
Thank you.
You bet. Harlequin, do you see any of your others on here? Victoria,
Yes, I do.
Rhonda?
Since I see her up top, I'm going to call on Sharonda Bailey
Okay.
in that pretty red dress that she's wearing today, or red top, whatever it is. And go ahead, Sharonda.
Hello, Harlequin. Hello, Ellen.
Hello. I like it. Red is good. I've got
Good
on my
evening.
green for money because we're talking about money tonight, but I love that red on you too.
Awesome. But my name is Sharonda Bailey. I am under the leadership of Arisa John, Alyssa Barnes, Erica Sanford. We all come from the same industry, and I'm just a little super excited to be here tonight. Thank you for sharing your platform with us for us to be able just to testify about, the things that DAC has done for us. It always come through for me. I can always say that about me. Even when I first started, DAC was just amazing. I come from a background in logistics, the trucking industry, things like that. But I went independent after a while, and I have a credit repair platform. And this just goes hand in hand with what I do. My clients trust me. They have businesses, they need funding, and it just all go together, right? I believe in multiple streams of income. I believe having one income is very dangerous. But I'm super excited because I did get an $18,000 funding. One of my clients got funded for $18,000. However, they were a renewal, right? So they did get funded for $15K the first time, came back, I got paid, right? And then got paid again because they got funded for $18,000. So I'm super excited. And it's really simple. Like, I think we complicated a little bit, but she was a credit client. I worked on her credit. I made sure she had things in line, and she applied again and she got funded. So I mean, DAC, like during the holidays, my business is a little slow as far as credit repair. So this came through right on time for me and my family. So I appreciate you guys, and thank you so much for having me on.
Excellent. Well, great testimonial there. And your testimonial just goes to show that if you're in a profession that already has connections with business owners, it's a great lead in for DAC. So I say that because not everybody here is in a profession that is already connected with business owners, but you guys are great recruits, right? So when you're talking about building an agency, look around at who you know that already has direct contact with people that are probably business owners or could be business owners. So thanks for sharing that, Sharonda. We were looking at your numbers, and Harlequin and I were debating whether that funding promoted you to DAC2 or not. And I'm going, nope, it's a renewal. It doesn't count as that second customer. So awesome. Awesome. All right. Anybody else on for testimonials, Harlequin?
I had spoken to Victoria and to let's see, Shawnee, and I know one of them had class and was potentially going to be a little bit later, but I'm not seeing them. But if they are on here,
Victoria Willis?
no, Victoria Hill.
Victoria Hill. Gotcha. I saw Victoria Willis on there.
Yeah, I did
Okay.
the same thing.
No problem. If they pop in here a little bit later, just let me know when we'll get to a stopping point back over to questions, and we'll definitely call on them. Okay. So thank you both for your testimonials. Let's get back into the presentation and the money. If you don't have a pen and paper out, you probably want to grab one right now, because I'm going to make a few pointers here that you're going to want to make note of. Okay. So let me get this slide share started again. and move over to compensation. Now, I know every week I talk about some of the same things, but understand some of you guys that are on here week after week after week, this training is for you to help sink in a little bit more, but we always have so many new people coming in. So if it feels repetitive, it's okay. Repetition is the mother of learning. And the more you hear something, the more you see something, the more it sinks in. So those of you that have been here before, hopefully this will sink in a big way tonight, if it hasn't already, as part of our standard compensation training. So let's talk about moving through the ranks on your own efforts without building a team. As you saw, that leveling up, getting to DAC 4, DAC 1, DAC 2, DAC 4, that's the highest rank that you can get in the DAC compensation plan without starting to build a team. Harlequin said, I'm a DAC AD in the comp plan. Well, that requires some team structure, right? So DAC AD is the next level right beyond DAC 4, but you can get all the way to DAC 4 on your own efforts, right? Just by getting personal clients. So let's go through how this works. Now, I took this screenshot directly from the compensation plan document that is in the Agent Resource Center. At the top of the page, you got the big green 1, 2, 3. Those are your basic training sections that everybody needs to go through when you're new. Or if you've been around a while and haven't revisited those, you need to go back, because lots has changed over the past 2 or 3 months, past couple of months specifically. But anyway, under the big green 3 is our compensation video, and there's a compensation chart. Well, this is the PDF chart. I believe this is page 4, but I'm going to break this down for these first 3 promotions, because this is really where everybody should try to get to. Okay. Now notice, there's an extra 10%, 15%, and 30% highlighted in green here. To be able to earn this extra money, you have to be engaged, and then you can earn extra on personal commissions if you're engaged. What is engaged? Well, you're either brand new and within your first 60 days in the business, or you have had a brand new or a renewal client of any value. That's going to get you engaged for that 60-day window. You can have 6 customer finance clients, or you can reach the rank of AD, or you can have there's a 5th one in there, Harlequin, and I'm drawing a blank on it. For 60 days, new client or renewal client, DAC AD, and 6 customer finance clients. There we go. I just didn't count correctly in my mind. So let's talk about these. And I want to give you some examples on what you get paid on personal production on your funding clients. And I'm going to show you a really cool demonstration on the ERC payout too, because there's a lot of confusion in the ERC space about who pays what and what comp plan and you're going to earn more money on. So I wanted to show you that tonight. Okay. So this one, the first one I'm going to start with is upfront bonuses on funding clients. Remember, our standard compensation is you either earn 3% or 6% of the funded value on your funding clients. Plus you can earn up to 3% more in rank advances. So you can earn up to 9% as you rank advance on your personal clients. Okay. So here's what it looks like. I'm using an example of an $80,000 funding. If you're at that 3% rank, either you're brand new or you have fallen out of engaged or amped up status, 3% is your standard pay. That means you make $2,400 on an $80,000 funding client. All of our testimonials tonight were from folks that have gotten clients that did 15,000 or more, right? And it took just the same amount of time to get a $15,000 or $25,000 or $35,000 funding, or even an $80,000 funding. It takes just the same amount of time as an agent as it does to go after giggle clients that pay very little. So if you're looking at this and thinking, well, I'm going to go after the giggle market, it's going to take you a whole lot of people to get funded through giggle, and you're not going to make a lot of money, and it's going to take you as much or more effort in that space. So I encourage all of you to market yourself to those businesses that are doing at least 15,000 or more, so that you have an opportunity to get into someone that's going to do an $80,000 funding. So you can earn the kind of money that I'm going to explain here on the next few slides. Okay. So 3%, $2,400. Now, what is this 6%. That means you're amped up. If you get amped up by having a personally funded client that is at least 6,000 in value. And it has to be a new client, either new funding or a new line of credit, or our ERCs are going to count towards amped up as well. Once you get amped up, you've got a 30-day window where you're in that amped up status and you earn double. You earn 6% instead of 3%. And after 30 days, you go back down to engaged. Either of these, engaged or amped, excuse me, you're going to be eligible for these extra bonuses in green at the top. So let me go through how those work. So what it is whether you're at 3% or at 6%, you want to multiply that percentage by 10. So if you take 3% or 3 times 10%, that's 0.3, right? So you add that 10% to the 3, and that's where we get 3.3. If you want to pull out a calculator and do some calculations with me at the same time, then you'll understand. So if you are engaged, you'll make 3.3% of the funding. If you're amped up, you'll make 6.6. Remember, 6% times that extra 10%, or 6 times 10% is 0.6. So 6.6, 6 plus the extra 10, right? So here's the dollars. You go on an $80,000 funding at DAC 1, that means your payout would be $26.40. If you're engaged, if you're amped, your payout would be $52.80. Okay. Now here's where the magic starts happening. When you get to DAC 2, you earn an extra 15%, not in addition to the 10. It's either 10 or 15. So Sharonda just promoted herself to, not Sharonda, I'm sorry, Shahira promoted herself to DAC 1 and DAC 2. So Shahira is now at this extra 15%. So Shahira, moving forward, as long as you stay amped up and you get another funding in your next 30 days, you're going to make 6.9% of that funded amount. How did I do that? 6 times 15 is 0.9, right? 6 plus 0.9 is 6.9. Or if you fall out of amped up status, you're engaged, you'll earn 3.45% of the funded amount. And here's your dollars, $27.60 and $55.20. All right. Now, DAC 4 is really where you want to be. DAC 4 means you got to have 4 funded clients minimum and at least 40,000 in total value. And at DAC 4, the numbers go through the roof. If you're just engaged, you make 3.9%, or if you are amped up, you make 7.8% of that funded amount. So on this $80,000 funding, engaged DAC 4 would make $31.20, and an amped up DAC 4 would make $62.40. So you can see how you can quickly rise in pay as you rise through the ranks in the compensation plan. But here's what I really want to drive home with you tonight, guys, because y'all have seen that on the funding pay before. You've seen it many times. But ERC is very new to all of us. So I want to take you through this same example, showing you how you can earn more than 4% on your personal clients with the employee retention credit. And one more thing I want to point out here is how that 4% is calculated, because I've seen several different companies promoting their ERC opportunity, and different companies are charging different fees. Some of them are charging upfront fees. Some of them are charging higher contingency fees than what we do. And a lot of them are promoting that you'll get paid a percentage of the fee, right? So our 4% is 4% of what the client gets back, but that equates to 20% of our contingency fee. So you get paid 20% of the 20% contingency fee that the CPAs charge to the client after they have gotten their tax rebate or credit back from the IRS, right? So 20% of the 20% contingency fee is 4. Now you can earn up all the way up to 6%, and this is through rank advance. So let's talk about an example of a $400,000 credit. In this example, David had said 16 employees. That would be on the high end. That would be averaging $25,000 per employee. Is that probably the average? No, but just imagine a group of 16 or 20 employees could easily get you in this range of a $400,000 credit back to the employer, right? And you're going to earn at least 4% on that. So unless it's a reduced value, and David covers that in training, but for simplicity tonight, we're going to go with the 4% base. So 4% of 400,000 that the client gets back would be a $16,000 commission to you. Okay. Now let's talk about how you can get extra money. But I want to point out that the amped up status where you earn double that I just covered on the funding bonuses, that's not going to apply on your personal employee retention credits here, but you can be amped up on your enroller bonuses. So you can earn double enroller bonuses. There's just not money in the comp plan to pay you 8%, right? So you won't be earning the double on your personal bonuses, but here's how you are going to earn a lot more than 4%, or how you can if you're working the plan. So same example as I used earlier, that extra 10% when you get to DAC 1, extra 10% of 4 times 10% is 0.4 added to 4.4 is the total payout on that. If you're engaged, remember, you got to be within 60 days or have a funding within the past 60 days. So instead of 4%, you would make 4.4% or 17,600. Now, Shahira, this is where I said, pay attention to what I'm sharing tonight, because now as a DAC 2, you're going to make an extra 15%, which equates to you earning 4.6% of the credit that the employer gets back. So now you would be up to 18,400 on this same example of a $400,000 credit back to the employer, right? And if you get to DAC 4, which you're only a couple people away and you're almost there with your total funded value, Shahira, then at DAC 4, you would be earning 5.2% of the credit amount. Again, as long as you are engaged, right? These extra bonuses do not count. This extra money does not count. If you fall out of engaged status and you go more than 60 days without having a client, then you go back down to our standard 4% on the employee retention credits. Now, 4% is still stellar pay, but when you look at these extra bonuses where you can earn on your own, clients earn up to 5.2% without building a team. That is crazy money. And then there's additional overrides where you can earn 25 to 50% on your personally enrolled agents. Plus, if you're a higher rank than anybody else in your team, you can earn the difference between your pay and their pay, and it just goes on and on and on. So there's a ton of money in this compensation plan, and I really wanted to drive the point home on the ERC bonuses tonight to give you this visual. Let me go back through them one more time, okay? 4% can go to 4.4% if you're DAC 1, can go to 4.6% if you're an engaged DAC 2, and 5.2% if you're an engaged DAC 4. When you're talking about hundreds of thousands or potentially millions of dollars that can be coming back as a refund for the client, depending on the size of the company, these fractions of percentages can mean a ton of money to you. So pay close attention, take to heart what I'm sharing with you tonight. And if I were you, I wouldn't consider marketing for another company, because I believe DAC has hands down the best compensation plan in the ERC space. All right. On top of the pay, remember, if you've been paying attention, we just launched this on Friday, and I went through this last Monday, but I'm going to take you through it one more time to drive the point home about our compensation and how much money is there for you in our ERC program. And this also goes over to our funding. So I've covered funding and ERCs tonight. We've just launched, it went live today, the Breezy Connect Cash program, where our funded clients and our ERC clients, once they become a client of ours, they're going to have an opportunity to opt into Breezy Connect Cash. What does that mean? Well, that means that they're going to say, yeah, I want to pay down my advance balance faster on the funding side, or yes, I have other business owner friends that I want to tell how good y'all were about the ERC. I want to share this. We're going to give them a referral link that's coded with their name on it. And when they send that out to their friends or other business owners, if someone goes through that link, then they'll be able to get paid, the business owner that got the referral link, as the Connect Cash customer. they'll get 2% off of a funded deal or 1% off of an ERC deal. You get paid as if it's your personal client, right? Now your frontline customer can turn into viral word of mouth referral. Again, all of your Connect Cash referrals, no matter which customer it came from, it didn't have to come through one of your direct customers. It could come through your direct customer or one of their referrals or so on or so on. They all count as your personal customers and will count towards ranking up, engaged, and amped up, and you'll be earning the commissions that I just covered on personal clients, on the funding and on the ERC, on all of these clients. So imagine you're telling people about the Breezy Connect Cash program. They start coming on board and you're doing a great job of helping market it in addition to what our in-house team is going to do. And your network of client referrals starts growing and growing and growing. And all of these customers are going to pay you as the agent of record as if it were your personal customer. All of those bonuses that I just shared is going to get you amped up. It's going to get you engaged, and you're going to be making boatloads of money if you'll stick and stay with DAC and promote DAC with our phenomenal funding and ERC program. So now that I've gotten myself excited and all you guys excited about the money that's here, let's talk about making sure that you're trained. I want to point you to some tools and then we'll go to question and answer, okay? And all of our training really starts at the Agent Resource Center. So let's open that up and point out the training at the top of the page. How did I get to the Agent Resource Center? Well, you just go over to davidallencapital.com and you can scroll down to the very bottom of the page. In the footer, you'll see resources. You've got your Partner With Us page to send someone your referral link. Make sure you add your agent ID number to the end if you're wanting to recruit an agent, and the link to the Agent Resource Center. Click on that and it'll open up the page that we're currently on. Okay, but at the top, you've got your big green 1, 2, 3. These are your required trainings. You want to go through the Getting Started Right, the Business Capital and Employee Retention Credits under number 2. Go through both of those, and then Comp Plan. I just covered everything you need to know about the comp plan, in my opinion, because until you start getting personal clients and getting paid on your own production, the rest of it doesn't matter. So learn the basics, learn the product, be a professional with our products, learn how to promote them, and take good care of the people that you're marketing to, and you will do well here. But the things I want to point out, the Agent Resource Center has been revamped and reorganized. So some of the things that you may used to know where they were, may not be able to find them as easily. So I want to point out the changes here under the business fundings, the quick reference guide and so on. Those are all under this number 1 link. Okay. But you got to dig for it. You want to open that up and you'll find the quick reference guide for funding. And this is all of our funding. The Bank Breezy bigger funding, the Biddy Advance for that mid-tier 5 to 15,000, and the Giggle funding for those businesses that are operating through a personal checking account. You're going to see that document right here. David covering the beliefs. There's a document about it and him talking about it on video. There's brochures. There are cover photos for your Facebook social media pages. There are scripts, social media post images, and social media videos. So you want to open that up and dig through your marketing materials that are available to you there in the Agent Resource Center. I'm going to go back over, and then some of these just have a direct link over to them. Same thing under employee retention. If you go to that first one where it says scripts, tips, social marketing images, and videos are here. You can click there. It's going to open up. And then there's the ERC training video. This video is the same as this one. If you have not reviewed it lately, it has been cataloged. So you can open it up and look at the comments underneath the video. And it's broken up to where you can just click on the timeline and it'll take you to that specific timeline in the video. So if you're needing to catch up on some of the ERC training, or you got a question, you go, I remember them talking about it, but I don't remember exactly what they said. You can go revisit that video without having to watch the whole thing to find it. But let me open up number 1 there so you can see what is available. We now have an ERC quick reference guide, and it is right here under number 1 under the ERC section. It's taking a minute to open up. This is a 2-page document that walks you through, just like the quick reference guide for the funding. So I encourage you to print this out. You've got the PDF of the training that they did on the video. You can actually pull up. These are the exact slides that were used in the training video by the ERC Pros team. And then we have the document that David posted about the IRS warning that went out to CPAs. Some CPAs misread that and misinterpreted it, thinking that the IRS is warning against the ERC. That is not the case at all. There's a brochure here that you can open up, and there's a spot there where you can create a QR code with QR Monkey, which they tell you that in the training. You can also go to a photo editor and you can type in your name and your phone number and have that as a printable document that you can leave behind. There are social media posts there and social media videos there in the Agent Resource Center. And something that was covered today that I want to point out, I had 2 or 3 of you actually emailed me after the leadership Zoom today saying, well, hey, what about that booklet that David was talking about today? And he's talking about the Super Saturday workbook. Okay. If you open this workbook up, there's a video also, and the video walks you through it. We did that back in July, I believe. Myself and several other of our agents of the months had training spots there on this Super Saturday. Some of the information is going to be a little bit outdated just because we've had some enhancements to our product, but you're going to find that there are pages and pages of great information about our business model, some more information about our compensation plan, and then you're going to find scripts in here as well. If you go back to page 41, there is the there's our quick reference guide. Page 41 is going to be the game plan document. And this is the document. If you're wondering what you need to do to make X amount of money, it goes through and it does a comparison. It says, okay, if you want to make $10,000 a month, here, if you're talking to funding clients, here's your average funding, and it does the math for you. I'll show you that document real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. And here it is, page 43, sorry. But the document is self-explanatory. Read through it and then start filling in the blanks. If you've got questions, feel free to reach out. David talks about getting with your team leader and your enroller to do a game plan. And I'm happy to do these, but I really need to know that you're committed, because if I spend an hour with somebody doing a game plan, I got to see that you're engaged. And honestly, most of the game plans that I've done, by the time we finished that, those people just kind of fell off. So I really prefer that you go through the game plan document on your own initially, and then start showing that you're actually following, and maybe start texting your upline or your leader and saying, hey, I made X number of connections today, because it tells you in the game plan document right here on this last page, it says 4 things that you can do to contact and hold yourself accountable to your leader. And that is to say, well, that's not the page I was looking for. 4 things that you would report on, what your goal was.
Yes, Ellen,
the goal.
under daily feedback with your personal agents.
Excuse me, say, I didn't hear what you started.
Okay, under item number 5, it says daily feedback with your personal agents. That's
Under
what you're
number
looking
5.
for. Right there.
Oh, yeah, right there. I see it. Yep, it's different because he's got it centered instead of numbered like it used to be. But the first thing is, what was your goal for the day? What was your activity goal for the day? How many people were you going to reach out and contact? And then how many did you actually contact versus the goal? So say the goal was to contact 10 businesses, you only contacted 5. So what equates for the difference? Why was there a difference? Why did you underachieve, or why did you overachieve based on what your original goal was? And then what was learned from that experience? If you overachieved, you learned that maybe you have sped up your process, or you've gotten more fluid with your process and what you're saying to your prospects, or maybe you have been setting too high goals. If you underachieve, you set too high a goal and you realize that it takes more time in those conversations than you anticipated. But that's what that accountability tool is. So I encourage you all to at least go through that on your own And then if you feel like after you've gone through it and you read through and you realize what it is that you need to do to make the kind of money that you're wanting to make, then reach out to your team leader and say, hey, I've gone through this game plan document and I'm really serious about this. I think I've set my goal at 10,000. I think I can hit these numbers on a daily basis. I just kind of need to work through with you on where to find these people and get that activity started. So that's what I wanted to cover tonight was the updates there in the training center. I'm going to open up if any of you have questions or
Ellen,
comments.
before we get to that,
Yep.
we do have a question. Somebody was saying that they didn't realize that you could advance using ERC in the comp plan. So can you go over that real quickly?
Yeah. So you want me to go back through pull that slide back up real quick?
Yeah, or just let them know what it is that they need to get in order to qualify as a client.
Yeah. So it just needs to be a $6,000 funded value or more to count as a new client. So you can easily do that with an ERC. We've got it. David said we've got to have at least 3,000. And then the CPA team says that they need a $5,000 refund. Otherwise it's not worth their time. Right. So they're not going to be doing tiny amounts on the refund and moving through the process. So at least 6,000 is a qualified funded value. And everything we do is funded value, whether it's ERC, whether it's funding, or whether it's lines of credit, has to total up to 6,000 funding. If it's line of credit, that gets added to a cumulative number. If it's giggle clients, it gets added up to a cumulative number. But fundings and ERCs are not added together, fundings outside of the giggle fundings. So that's it. But yeah, those count as a client and move you through the compensation plan. I've got that screen back up. I'm going to share that again real quick because I think that that's just a powerhouse example. Moving to DAC one ERC client, you start at 4%, you get an extra 10% as DAC 1. 4% is 20% of the contingency fee. I've heard other companies say, oh, well, we're going to pay 10%. And I'm going, 10% of what? And a lot of agents think they're getting 10% of the refund amount. And that's just not the case. Some of these companies that are paying 10%, they're paying 10% of their contingency fee. And that contingency could be 20 to 30%, but do the math on it. If they were getting 10% of a 30% contingency fee, that means that they would be getting a total of 3% of the refund amount for the client. Okay. So if you need some help figuring out the math and doing the calculations, I am happy to help you do that. But DAC pays 4% base, 20% of a 20% contingency fee that is charged. Moving through the ranks, you go to DAC 1, you earn 4.4% instead of 4, as long as you're engaged. As a DAC 2, you earn 4.6% as long as you're engaged. And when you get to DAC 4, you earn 5.2% of your personal ERC clients as long as you are engaged. So that is exciting to me, really exciting. Okay, thanks for that question. All right. Can we go to these hands now, or is there another one in the chat?
Well, actually, now the other thing is that on ERC, that does not count until we get paid. So it's not when the client applies or when it gets sent to the IRS. It's when the IRS pays them and they pay the ERC pros.
Yeah, and it's just like all of our fundings, because we don't get paid and it doesn't count as a client for us until we get paid on it. So yeah, good point.
Okay, and then it looks like Shanae has joined us. She was one of our testimonials.
All right.
So,
I'm going to ask you to unmute.
Yeah. Shanae, if you can go ahead and unmute yourself. We would love to hear about your funding.
Hey, Shanae. Yeah. So we kind of went through some rules on the funding testimonials earlier. Obviously, you're not going to name your client by name, but we would certainly love to know what industry they're in and tell us what you're doing outside of DAC, what your background is, and how you found your funded client.
My clients come from the tax industry. Most of my clients own tax companies. So that's where most of my biggest funding have came from. The way that I started networking with these clients is because I'm a tax preparer myself. So mentioning the program, someone introduced me to the David program, and I got accustomed to it, and then I presented it to my colleagues and my friends that's in the industry. So when I pitched it to them, and they trusted and believed me for trying to make things work, and when it did happen, and they got funded, and they're able to help their businesses out, they trusted me. So when it happened for them, they just put the word out for me. So we just all network in one big circle or whatnot, but it still revolves back and it comes back to me.
Excellent, excellent. And how much was this funding that you helped someone get?
I believe it was $32,000.
Yeah, I know it was sizable. So one point that I made earlier is that all of you that had fundings this week and are doing testimonials, all of you had bigger clients, right? Y'all are not going after the giggle market. You're not going after the gig workers that are only going to qualify for a few $100s. You're going after the big boys that are at 15,000 or more, because that's where they're going to get funded easier. They're going to get funded faster. And the commission that gets paid to you as an agent is going to be a lot higher commission as well. So it's a win-win for everybody.
It definitely is. And with that industry, I would just say, even if you know someone that owns a tax company, don't be afraid to talk to them, because you never know who they may know. And those friends of mine that own these tax companies, they have, clients that own businesses as well. So they put the word out, well, we know how we could get you some extra funding or whatnot. So when they put that word out, that's more funding coming in for me, because they refer them back to me. I did it for them. They do me a favor by sending me the clients.
Excellent, excellent. And anybody in the tax business is a great agent partner referral, but for the ERC program, because there's so many tax preparers and CPAs out there today that really are not touching the ERCs for their clients. Either they don't know or they're misinformed about how the program works. If you listened in on today's leadership Zoom, you heard me share this story, but I need to tell it again for those of you that did not hear it. This morning, I had an opportunity to talk to a nationwide IRS company that helps people with IRS problems. The owner of the company was an IRS agent and a high-level IRS agent for years. And after he walked away from his job, he created his own company to help people that were in trouble with the IRS, to help them negotiate with the IRS, to do offers and compromise, and really navigate the IRS system to help people get out of trouble. And through some friends of mine, I was introduced to these people a few years ago. I actually had some issues that I had to deal with from my restaurant days. They helped me navigate the situation at hand. And recently I just had a friend call me. She's dealing with some stuff with her brother's estate. So she was talking to me about it. And I said, I may have somebody that can help you. So I reached out to them, talked to them today, and she saw my email signature where it says employee retention credits on my email signature through my personal work email. And she said, Ellen, I see you guys are doing the employee retention credits. Tell me what you're doing there. So we chatted back and forth, and I said, what are you guys doing with it? And she said, oh, we've been doing it since it started. She said, every single day we have dozens of files come in, and we have people say, well, my bookkeeper got everything that I qualified for. They told me I didn't qualify. She said, there's just so many people that don't have a clue about the ERC program. They're misinformed, or they're just not calculating everything correctly because they don't know all the ins and outs of it. And that's the reason why you want to refer people to someone like David Allen Capital and our ERC team that has in-house tax attorneys, where they're going to comb through everything and make sure that they're getting every dollar that that business owner can legally, morally, and ethically get back from the IRS that they have overpaid due to this adjustment in the ERC program with the CARES Act. So we're doing people an injustice if we're not sharing the good news about the ERC program. And if you run across someone who is misinformed, I encourage you to try to get them on the phone with the CPA team and say, well, you know, a professional, that is another CPA or bookkeeper or someone that has that book of business and they're not quite sure how the program works. I would encourage connecting them. Just have them go in and fill out a form for one of their clients or themselves, and to get on over to the CPA team so they can start the chat and ask for a phone call, and then they can get their questions answered with someone that really knows the ins and outs of the ERC. But great story there. I appreciate that. Did you have anything else that you wanted to share before we move on to the next topic? Nope.
I'm guessing that was
Yeah.
directed towards me. Yeah, someone sent me a private message. If I got an accountant to join DAC for the ERC program, they would get 4%. So how much will I get?
Well, it depends on whether you're engaged or amped up. If you're engaged, you get a 25% match on what they make. And if you're amped up, then you get a 50% match on what they make. So imagine if you brought on a CPA that, let's say they have 50 customers, clients that they work with, that they move through the ERC program, you would get paid a matching revenue match on all 50 of their clients, as long as you're at least engaged, right? Bringing your own clients to the table. And if you're amped up, you get 50% match on all of the money that they did on all of their 50 clients that they took through the ERC. So
Yeah.
that's how
So
it
that would-
works.
Yeah, that would either be 1% if it's a 25% match, or 2% if it's a 50% match. Plus, you also get those other additional bonuses on the initial ones as they're getting to DAC 4, if you're at a DAC 4 level.
That's right. You only get those additional bonuses either on your personal clients, or if you're a higher DAC rank than the person in your team or anybody in your team that's at another rank, you get the difference, those extra bonus commissions. Yeah. And that's a deeper training. Well, I just wanted to make sure everybody understood the personal commissions tonight on that, because I think that's something that we're missing the boat on big time, on how that scale goes up to 5.2% on your personal ERC clients. All right. Any other questions there? I don't see anybody with a hand raised, or am I missing that? Oh, I do. I see Sergio's got his hand up. Let's go to Sergio.
Hey, Alan, can you hear me?
I can. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm good. I know you were loving every minute that I was covering that compensation plan. So
Absolutely.
what question is spurred in your mind?
Okay, listen, I just wanted to clarify the Breezy Connect cash.
Mhm.
I know that in one of the trainings, David had said that our percentage for that would be reduced a little bit because the funding value would be reduced.
Mhm.
Or are we still getting the full amount, the 3%,
Yeah,
6%?
it's gonna
4%?
vary. It's gonna vary depending on what the client gets
Mhm.
and who the lender is. I mean, David said that we have some lenders that are going to contribute to that Breezy Connect cash program. And if they chip in some extra money for that, then
Mhm.
you could possibly get paid full commission as if it
Okay.
was your own client. But obviously, if the client's getting, if that Connect cash referral partner is making 2% on a funded deal and 1% on the ERC deal, that money's got to come from somewhere. So if
Right.
our funding partners aren't chipping in to help alleviate that cost with DAC, then it could possibly get adjusted out of your commission. But think about it this way: it's free referrals. You just nurture
Exactly.
that relationship with your personal clients, and I've always looked at it this way. I'd rather have something of something than nothing of nothing.
Nothing of nothing.
And
Yeah,
I don't care
exactly.
what that reduction is. Something of something is always better than not having that client in the first place.
Absolutely. I agree. I agree. Okay. And second, I had a customer who emailed me today and told me that they had uploaded all their documents for ERC, but I didn't get an email.
Okay.
Does it take a little bit for us to get that email that the documents have been uploaded?
It does. And here's
Okay.
why. Just because the client uploaded all their documents doesn't
Mhm.
mean that the CPA team has reviewed it and verified that they have every document that they need.
Okay.
So you need to allow time for them to review that, because once they look at what was sent in, they may say, oh, well, we need an additional form, or they may have been missing a quarter or something on those lines. So when you get that email, it'll be that the package is 100% complete. Now it's ready to go to the team to review, to see what the actual numbers are on what they qualify for.
Okay, great. And can I ask just one more real quick?
Absolutely.
Okay. If I've got a company that I'm looking at, they've got a little over 300 employees for the ERC. Their CFO, I know, is looking at a couple of different companies that they could file their ERC with.
Mhm.
If they wanted to vet our company, could we put that CFO in contact with somebody from ERC Pro so that they
Yes.
could talk to them?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Jeremy stated that on our training Zoom. Absolutely. He's happy to talk to big companies or CPA firms or whatever, but they're happy to do that. Absolutely.
Okay, that's it. Thank you so much, Alan. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for the question, and good job rooting up your network there. And let me know what I can do to help you get that over the edge, or reach out to David on that.
All right.
Okay?
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Got it. All right. And we have Ray. I'm going to ask you to unmute, Ray. How are you tonight?
Can you hear me, Ellen?
I can.
Hey, Ellen, how you doing? I had a question in reference to the ERC site. So I recently had someone, they say they're interested, but I'm supposed to meet with them on Wednesday. So I hope that works out. But what I wanted to know is, like, when they are on the site, I don't know if anybody know this or not, I'm just asking. I know they mentioned that they have a chat line at their site for the client. Now, is that chat line 24/7, or that's only business hours only for them if they need to speak to someone?
Yeah, it's not a 24-hour line, because it's a live person that is responding to that chat. They
Mhm.
are in Utah, so they're going to be on Mountain Time, right?
Okay.
So during
Okay.
business hours. But let me clarify where that chat is. It is not on the David Allen Capital or Bank Breezy side of the application process. They're going to have to complete the Getting Started app on your David Allen Capital Partner Bank Breezy page. And then it's going to move them on into the questions of, did you lose revenue? Were you impacted by mandates? There are 4 questions there, and they've got to answer yes to one of those questions. Otherwise, they're going to get a screen that says, sorry, you're not qualified, right? So they got to read the questions and make sure that when they're talking about government mandates, I've had several businesses that actually made more money during COVID, and they automatically thought they didn't qualify. But if you read the fine print on mandates, where were your hours impacted? Did you have temporary shutdown and so on? They're on the drop down there on your DAC site. If you read through those and have your client read through those and get them to think about it, most businesses are going to be able to say, yeah, I was impacted, especially if they got PPP money. Most of them are going to qualify for the ERC, but it takes you peeling back the layers sometimes and getting them to think outside the box of what happened. I specifically had that happen. Harlequin has had that happen. And I know, we're almost removed from COVID now, because our economy has changed so much and people are back to normal operations in so many different ways, that
Right.
it really takes a business owner stepping back in time to think about what did happen when they had to get shut down, or when they went from indoor and outdoor service to outdoor service only, or limited number of patrons in their store because of social distancing and so
Right.
on. So you'll do a good job on that. Once they've gone through and it says, congratulations, looks like you qualify, then that's going to take them on over to the continue page. When they hit continue, there's still a page up that says, stop before you go any further. You'll need these documents. Just disregard that. Move on through to the next page where it says continue. That'll take them on over to ERC Pros to answer some questions and fill out the form there. When they get over to the ERC Pros site, that's where you'll see that chat box and the ability for them to ask questions to the CPA team.
And so when they get to that section, once they get to that part, they can then upload whatever documents that are required through ERC Pros.
Right. Once they get over there, then they're going to set up their, fill out their information, submit that, and then they're going to receive an email back from the ERC Pros to set up their Canopy. Canopy is the secure back office software where they will go check their email. They'll log into Canopy, and then they've got this back office suite where they'll upload everything into that.
Okay.
They won't be sending it by email. It'll be uploaded into that secure.
Okay, so once they do ask the questions, you're saying that they're going to send an email for them to then submit the documents after that.
Correct. ERC
Okay.
Pros, once they've started that process and they're in there, ERC Pros will send them an email, and it'll say it's from ERC Pros.
Mhm.
Okay. And it'll have a full detailed list of all the documents that they need. Plus it'll have a link and instructions on going over to Canopy to get logged in so that they can start uploading those documents. And once they get into the Canopy software, then they'll be able to see exactly where they are and what is missing, and any notes or call to action, as they call it, from the CPA team, where they're telling the client what they need. And the CPA team is going to call the client. They're going to email the client multiple times. Every one of my clients, I've followed up with them, and I ask, have you talked to the CPA team? And they're going, yeah, I've got to call in to so-and-so, whoever their support person is. So they're really good at the customer service side of this, helping your clients get their questions answered and helping them figure out what documents are needed to upload into Canopy.
Okay, now my second and last question is, and I don't know if I already asked this on one other call before, but so let's say a person goes through the funding, they don't get qualified, could they still apply for the ERC if they don't get qualified for the funding?
Oh yeah, they're totally separate programs. They can
Okay.
apply for both at the same time. One or the other doesn't matter. They're not
Okay.
interrelated.
Okay, you've answered my questions. Thank you, Ellen.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for the questions. Bobby Knight, what do you have for us tonight?
Thank you, Ellen. Once again, you're in Holligan and your whole team here. Ellen, what would your daily method of operation would be? And for a mom, who has children and limited time, what advice would you give them, and how would you give them some advice on building a business? A mom with children to take care of.
Yeah. Well, you've got to set aside time to work this business every day. And, if you're a stay-at-home mom, your schedule may be sporadic depending on how old those children are that are at home. But I would say if you've got a nap time or whatever, use that time to build your business. But the daily plan of action that I have without children at home is I get up with an intentional effort on my business each and every day, right? I have my morning routine where because I'm building a team, I go through and I look at the team growth, and I send out welcome emails to everybody that's joined overnight and so on. But my daily plan of action is to know who I'm reaching out to. So I have a long list of contacts of business owners that I want to reach out to, or friends that work for business owners that I want to reach out to and ask, hey, do you know if your employer did this? Did they get this money from the government? Did they get the PPP money? Did they also get this? I just start a conversation with people and have a daily goal of how many conversations you're going to have, right? So somebody just getting started in the business, that might be your sole focus, is just reaching out and starting conversations with business owners and trying to get those personal ERC clients, right? Mine as a team leader, I'm doing multiple things. I said, when I'm checking on the team in the morning, then I have my personal contacts that I'm reaching out to. And then once I've got my funnel that I'm filling there, I'm following up with people that haven't made it through that email to me saying that all of their documents are uploaded, right? So you start this process and then it becomes a follow-up process. And in addition to that, I'm also talking with team members. I'm answering questions with team members. I'm doing three-way calls with team members, or I'm looking at my team and thinking as I've already made my list, I've got people in my team that I know would be great at ERCs. And maybe they're just not active with DAC right now. So I'm going through my list of team members and reaching out to people and saying, hey, I don't know if you're plugged into what's going on with DAC or not. I want to make sure you're seeing that we just launched the Employee Retention Tax Credit Program. Have you heard of that? I'm getting that message throughout the team. So my day is a lot more scattered probably than the average new agent that's listening today, because I've got so many different aspects of my business that are going on. But brand new people, that stay-at-home mom, you're just trying to make money here. Your first goal and your main focus every single day needs to be getting personal clients. If you want to do team building, split it up in between getting calls out to getting personal clients and making a few calls and asking people, hey, I just got started with this business I'm really excited about. Wanted to see if you keep your options open for making money outside of what you're doing. I've got a program that I think is phenomenal. Are you interested in taking a look at it? And asking that question and sending the video over and letting the video do the work for you, right? Don't waste your time on phone calls that can be covered in a video that tells the whole story. Don't you spend an hour talking to somebody, spending time telling the story. Let the video do that, and then you talk to them after they've seen it to answer any questions or get your upline on the phone to answer those questions. But compartmentalize your day. I personally am running 2 businesses. Well, I have more than 2, but my limousine company, which many of you know that I own and operate that, and I'm juggling my time between that and everything that I just explained that I do with DAC. So I really have to have focused time for DAC because it comes in between. I'm doing DAC part-time as I'm running my full-time business. I'm trying to flip the scale on that, and that's coming to fruition for me. But it's just, you got to have focused attention on your daily goals. And I also recommend just writing down what it is you're going to get done for the day. Have your list, your checklist, and don't finish up the day or don't reward yourself until you've knocked out all the things that you set to do for the day. Did that help, Bobby?
Ellen, your trainings always help you and Holligan and your team. I thank you so much. I just love being here. Thank you.
Awesome.
So
Yeah,
much.
thank you, man. I appreciate the kind words, and I also appreciate the question and spurring that conversation, because I know that helps a lot of other folks that are listening as well. All right, any other questions before we wrap up tonight? I hope that I've given you enough information that many of you aren't going to sleep tonight because you're thinking about all the money that you could be making. Now you're just thinking about, okay, I got to put my action plan together so that I've got my contact list in place and what the first people that I'm wanting to contact and prioritize the ones that have the biggest reach. The biggest reach would be the CPAs and those that already have that client base of business owners. That's an instant outreach, right? One person could lead you to dozens or potentially hundreds of clients, depending on how big their customer base is. Those would be my first priority. And my second priority would be the bigger companies that I know, right? Now, if you're brand new, you may not be comfortable with those conversations. And that's where you want to lean on someone who is more experienced and let your team leaders help you. So please reach out if we can help. Let us know. If you're sending me emails, sometimes it takes me a day or two to go through emails, depending on how flooded my inbox is. The best way to reach me if you've got a hot pressing topic is to hit me on my cell phone with a text message, and I'll get back to that as quickly as I can. Okay. Anything else? Oh, I see. I've got Bruce Campbell with a hand up. Hey, Bruce, how you doing tonight?
Trying to unmute. Can you hear me now, Ellen?
I can. There you go.
Beautiful. I really am very happy about being with David on Capital for over a couple of years now. And my upline, unfortunately, he has not given me any kind of service, not doing any due diligence whatsoever, not returning any calls, not answering his phone. And I heard David say today, if you're having that kind of a problem, to email support, and he'll make sure that he'll get me a mentor that can actually help me really get engaged a lot better than that's what's taking me so long to get engaged. It's because I have no upline and no help.
Okay,
along
well, you do, Bruce. I didn't know that. I know your upline. I know who your enroller is because I personally enrolled that enroller. And so you're on my second level. So if you're not getting any response from him, I'll be happy to work with you directly, but you need to reach out to me, like I said, through my text message. Are you getting my emails?
No, I'm not.
Okay. I'll have to do me a favor. Send me an email at workwithellen@gmail.com. Send me an email asking that you be added back to my email list. You may have been there and I may have taken you off just through inactivity or something, but I want to make sure you're getting that communication. And then let's you and I get dialogue started on best ways to communicate with me and timelines, because I know you're in California, I'm in Georgia, so we got a 3-hour time difference, but I'm happy. And I see you on Zooms every single week now. So I'm really excited that you're fully engaged with DAC. So I'm here to help you, man. Just reach out to me and we'll get that dialogue started. Okay.
I really, really appreciate your help, Ellen, an awful lot. I have a lot of communication with business owners that own, for instance, Denny restaurants. They own not just one, they own 4. And I have a relationship with several different business owners that do have multiple franchises that I do need to get reaching out to, but I do need help with my upline as far as communication, what to present and so forth, to bring it to the table. I don't want to do it the wrong way. So I just kind of leaving everything on hold.
Yep. Well, let's get you off hold and let's structure you a plan tomorrow. Okay.
That sounds real good. It's
Right.
Work with Ellen.
Work with Ellen, ELLEN @gmail.com.
Okay. Thank you so much. You have a beautiful night.
You bet. You as well. Thanks for your question and your comment there. I see Shelton has his hand up. Hey, Shelton, how are you tonight?
I'm good. I have a question. Basically like what Bruce was just saying, and I was wondering if I could also reach out to you because I'm actually having a very similar problem. I don't know if it's the same person or not. Don't care.
No, it's a different person. And I just really realized who your enroller is going back through some emails. And yeah, I know your situation too. So yes, definitely reach out. Okay.
All right, will do. Thank you.
Right. Sounds good. Thank you, Shelton. All right. Anybody else before we wrap up? Harlequin?
Actually, somebody was asking a question and I'm gonna tie it in with what we had talked about earlier.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. You were going to cover that anyway.
Yes, I was. Now, they were asking, Ada Santos was asking about a sample elevator pitch for the ERC. And one of the things that when we first brought this out, I was talking to somebody who's been marketing this for a while. And one of the things that they said is that the best way to approach a business, rather than saying, oh, hey, have you guys applied for ERC or have you heard of it? Because so many people have been told by their CPA or bookkeeper or whatever that they're not eligible, the best way to approach it is by asking them, hey, have you heard that they changed the qualifications for the ERC program and that a lot of people who didn't qualify initially are now eligible? Have you checked out to see if you guys are now eligible yet? Because, there's, you can get up to $26,000 per employee. That's a W-2. And that's a lot of money that you can get as a tax credit on payroll taxes that you've already paid.
Excellent.
So anyways, but what Ellen and I were talking about, I kind of had an epiphany this last week when I was driving down to see Tony Robbins down in Florida. I had to go and pick up my friend who lives in rural Georgia. So I got to drive through a whole lot of rural Georgia and realized, one of the things that we can do, and this kind of ties into how David always talks about paint your town blue, DAC blue. If you live in a small town, or well, I'll go over that first, and then for those people who don't live in a small town. But anyways, if you live in a small town, if you were to approach either the mayor of your city or someone from the chamber, or even, someone in the local police department, and talk to them about how the ERC can help their community. And if they can help to identify, even if it's just 10 businesses that have 10 owners or 10 W-2 employees each, and they get 10,000 per employee, go on the low end. So that's $100,000 per business. What kind of a difference would it make for a small community to have $1 million pumped into that community? How much of a difference would that make for the small town that you live in? And for those of us who live in bigger cities, I live in Atlanta, Georgia, that, it's like I can't even hardly throw a rock without hitting a business, but sometimes it gets overwhelming. But if you were to go, and especially if you talk to somebody like in the police department and say, hey, where is a lower income community that may have some higher crime? There's always a few small business owners that are there that are trying to help turn that community around, and ask them, who are those people? Because those are the people that are going to use this money for good, and they're going to help their community. And if you approach it that way by, hey, how is this money going to help my community? Because, even if it's only $10,000 that goes into that small area, those business owners are going to use that money in the local community. So there's, the employees are possibly going to get a little bit more money, or they're going to go and buy more products in that area. So like the local grocery store is going to have a little bit more money. The local restaurant is going to have a little bit more money. So it's just going to compound from there. And, if you think about it in that light, it makes it a whole lot easier to approach somebody about ERC, because it's like, hey, what can this money do to help my local community and my local economy?
I love it.
Approach
That's
it that
great.
way.
Yeah, when you said that was powerful. So to recap that, you go into these small communities and you look for those influential spots like the Chamber of Commerce or someone of that nature, and ask them, who are the most influential businesses here that we could help to get this flood of money coming in from the IRS. It's money that's been overpaid now that the rules have changed on COVID, and it's actually cash back in hand to these business owners. So great stuff, Harlequin. I appreciate you sharing that with everybody tonight. Before we wrap up, one last chance. If there's an unasked question, now is your time. I don't see anything in the chat box there. No hands up. You guys are awesome. Next one, Adisette Santos. Let me ask you to unmute. Oh, you had unmuted and I muted you. Now you're unmuted.
I think I had the same issue with regards to the upline. I was wondering if I could get help with that as well.
Yeah, send me an email and I will look and see where we need to connect. Okay.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. workwithellen@gmail.com.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for reaching out on that. Anybody else? All right, guys. Thanks so much for plugging in tonight. Thank you for your commitment to yourself and your DAC business. Stick and stay. Don't go away. Don't go astray. Stay with us because DAC is going to be a legendary company and you have a part of something very special growing right here within. So take care, everybody. We'll see you Friday at 11:30 on our DAC Zoom. If not before, we may have some announcements before then where David may interrupt the week for us. All right. Take care, everyone. Have a great night. See you next time.